is bugged in some areas of the game. Chinese gamers are having their gaming time cut by the government. Summoner Showdown leaderboard update, and what is the fallout from the compensation of earlier this week? Hello everybody, welcome to the Marvel Contest of Champions news show for Wednesday. How you all doing? Please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe with post notifications on all, as we try and push ourselves to try and get up to 58,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, it's absolutely free. And also we're trying to push to get 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, just close to 4,000 on my second channel, Rich's Revolution, where I post Marvel Future Revolution content. And it's actually a really good game, so just go and check out the second channel, link is in the description, and maybe there's an eye thing that's popped up here that you can go and click on. And finally, we've got to do some thank yous. Thank you so much to everybody that supports the channel as a Patreon and as a YouTube member. Appreciate you for helping keeping the channel going. Also, those that support on twitch.tv/RichTheMan live, where I do a lot of my live streaming. We had a great stream last night, and some amazing stuff happened, like a 229,000 damage SP2 from Scarlet Witch. That was insane. I'll link it in the description to that particular clip. But also, thanks to those that give the free Amazon Prime sub a month. Also, those who do tier 1 subs, bits, donations, and tier 2 subs as well. And now let's look at some news. So, what's going down in the community at the moment? What's wrong with me? What's going down in the community at the moment? First of all, the cornered bug, or cornered node bug. So, as a lot you know, cornered is in every corner of the game in various different places, whether it's in variant 1 or various other variants, or even in some of the act stuff. Now, for a lot of you that were astute and paid attention, you know that that has been recently looked into. A lot of this seems to be centralized to the new update, and also Act 5.3.6 or Act 5 content in general. But then, you know, this could be again down to interactions. Players saying that after the update, I noticed that the opponents are gaining massive amounts of power even when they do not have a debuff on them. I think the stun debuff from a parry was the cause of this based on what I have encountered. So maybe people are saying that this is to do with just like standard non-damaging debuffs, which would be frustrating, especially in interaction with that node. God help us if that's in any kind of like event content coming up this month. Oh God, if it was in the Shang-Chi challenge, Jesus Christ, look out community, we'll be in trouble. And the latest update from Kabam Zibit, so there is good news coming. Hey there everyone, the team is working on a fix for this issue. We'll update everyone as soon as we have more info on when it is finished and can be pushed out, which, as I said, like sooner rather than later. If this is something, and fingers crossed it's not, in any of the event content this month, like the Shang-Chi challenge or the event quest, because that's going to be a crucial thing for players to kind of like to grind. You know, we want to get back. First 2 weeks are hype time for MCOC before it then does that 2-week kind of like tail off. So yeah, like fingers crossed that this is sorted out as soon as possible. Now let's move on to the Summoner Showdown. Ah yes, the Summoner Showdown, an absolute gem of a piece of content that's been created, where everybody in the community uses a plethora of champions to get the best results possible, where you don't need to switch your mastery in order to achieve the best of the best. And it doesn't mean that you have restrictive grind elements because you're like, hey, I don't have this champion. That's fine, because multiple champions are able to do these particular bosses. Yes, the Summoner Showdown. Bum 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 ba-da-dum bum ba-dum bum ba-dum bum bum. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear. Look, all joking aside, it's good for the people that are, you know, doing it. It's not easy to do, to kind of get some of these top scores. It's just one of the things that I've always said with this kind of competition. It's not a good competition, as there's so many elements to why, from the fact that everybody if you don't have the champion, is problematic. That is like the best rotation champion, and as well mastery setup. Like, should you have to switch everything into offensive to do? Not necessarily. I know some people have done it with like a standard mastery build in order to do it. It's just the thing is that most of the time the people that have got through at the very top are indeed those people. But I think it's just the thing, like, if you don't have the champion, it's a problem. And at the same time, like, everybody should have what the original Summoner Showdown was, which was a specific type of mastery build a specific amount of champions to choose, so you were quite restricted, so you had to do the best at the time. There's a few other things as well, but I just kind of think I'm just looking forward to when this kind of like this ends. Not that I don't think it's like, I mean, it's cool. It's just when it then gets to the next round, in my opinion, it just gets a little bit boring because then it turns into Alliance Wars, and it's like, oh right, okay, but hey, we'll see what happens when the finals occur very, very soon. But now, topical segue. So a lot of people that play in Asia and Oceania, just assume that some of these people, some of these entries, some of these ladies or gentlemen are going to be of Chinese origin. Well, it turns out now that online gamers under the age of 18 will only be allowed to play for an hour on Fridays, Wednesdays and holidays. Wow, China's video game regulator has said this is massive, and I'm not going to say it massively impacts Marvel Contest of Champions, because you have to think about the idea that a lot of the game is actually played between, like when I look at my demographics, predominantly a lot of people between the ages of 20 and 30 actually kind of like watch my content. And I don't know, maybe there's more kids that watch the other MCC YouTubers, but we have a very mature audience. We can say things like boobs. Yeah. Anyway, it does mean that, you know, it doesn't mean there's a lot of people playing this game in that lower kind of like age bracket, and as well, you know, from, I mean, I don't really see the stats for, I don't think because there's a YouTube, I think it's Weibo, isn't it? Weibo or something. That's the Chinese version of like YouTube. So yeah, like I don't really see those age ranges as being big watchers, but that's just the thing as well. When it comes to like Kabam, target the people that for the spenders, spend between the ages of 20 upwards, of course, because you know you don't want kids spending massive amounts on loot boxes from those crystals. So playing Marvel Contest of Champions, I don't know if it's going to be a massive impact, especially to MCC, but it's an interesting one in any case because mobile gaming is a very popular thing in like Eastern countries. So I don't know what it's going to do for the numbers for Marvel Contest of Champions. I don't know if it's going to be too much of an impact, but still, it's kind of annoying because if any kind of government said to themselves, right, well, you can't play games, it sucks because a lot of the time, because like, you know, working, especially when you get past the age of 18 and you go into like either, I don't know, study, maybe you wouldn't game so much, but when you kind of go into employment, and for me, I wanted to, as soon as I left college, I was like, I want to go into, I want to work, but also do my degree on the side. So that was my main focus, is to do that and start earning money. So yeah, like, and gaming was like that good thing that I played for a lot. I loved gaming. World of Warcraft, World of Tanks, World of Warships. A lot of games that I don't cover on this channel, which I did do very, very much in the beginning. But that's just the thing. It's a good, I'm not saying it's escapism from reality. It's just sometimes reality sucks, and sometimes playing a game and kind of playing online is actually a little bit better for those that maybe suffer from things like social anxiety issues, agoraphobia. You know, it's kind of like, for certain people it ticks some boxes, and that's the great thing about gaming. It kind of like puts people in touch. The Marvel Contest of Champions community is a great little community, and that's just like the greatest thing about this. But you can only find that gaming community if you game, and so that's just really the thing with it. Like yeah, it sucks for people that this affects, and yeah, it looks pretty bad. Now let's move on to compensation fallout. Now, compensation is something that has been it's been acceptably received. I mean, for me, I find it acceptable, but theirs is one of these things where saying the word acceptable means that there could be a little bit more. I don't think there could have been anything less than what we got back. At the end of the day, we have to identify the state of affairs of the game. Is everybody happy with the state Marvel Contest of Champions has been in the last 2 months? Predominantly, no. If you look back to the way the game ran in May, probably be like, the game is fine as it is. And then, you know, when this kind of like this problem happened with the game, with that was out of Kabam's control, but at the same time, we're consumers, so we have nothing to really kind of go on. What do you do? Say, okay, we'll go play a different game, which I don't think it really helped with new games coming out. And also new games announced at Gamescom. FYI, looking forward to info about Midnight Suns, which drops today, which I'll be reacting to tomorrow. So look out for that. But yeah, like, compensation we got to be focused on here. And this player, Alec, fantastic. And we'll look at other players' opinions in a minute on the matter. Says that he does feel that it should have been a bit more than what it was, especially for the extent of time that it was, and as well the extent of pain that it caused. Saying that we should be getting 30,000 6-star shards as opposed to, for those at Thronebreaker, 6-star Nexus, and 10,000 6-star shards for Cavalier, and below and below and below. Then 50,000 5-star shards, 5-star Awakening Generic Gem, 50 5-star Signature Stones, 20 6-star Class Signature Stone Crystals, 2 Tier 5 Basics, 2 Tier 2 Alphas, and a whole lot more of stuff. And again, a few other things as well. Like that's quite an extensive compensation package. And that's just the thing, isn't it, for players? Like, where do you feel the line needs to be drawn with, should you be receiving more or should you be receiving less than that? I mean, Q Fury goes ham on Kabam here, saying 10% Tier 5 Class Catalyst Selector, seriously, no other rank up materials, nada. This has been my breaking point, in all honesty. Kabam, you're way out of touch with your player base. If you think this makes up for the past few months of horrible issues, then you're mistaken. And that's just the thing, like, you've got to avoid things that are in the game. Like, it does set things back. Like, I've avoided doing Act 7.2 until I felt the game's kind of like at a certain point. I've lost 2 months of kind of like grinding that. But then that's the thing of going like, this isn't my sole game. So you have to kind of like go, right, if everything's terrible, just go play a different game. Played Call of Duty Warzone, went back to playing some World of Tanks, but mainly played Marvel Future Revolution, and a couple of other little games as well, a couple of like indie developed games, which has been nice to do, to kind of like have that shift away from stuff, and also kind of like plan wedding stuff. So I haven't really kind of grinded that much within the game, and that's just the thing, finding stuff that works, but also kind of avoiding a game that is obviously so bugged and needs work that 2 months is not going to settle it. But yeah, compensation. Again, should it have been more than it was? Is it acceptable? And that's why I think a lot of people are going to differ on that thought process. One of the biggest things that hit home from all of this compensation is what players got back from it. And again, this is the problem with going like, okay, compensation, where it kind of felt like it was all over the place. Like, what does it really target? Was it to really target the parry dex controls issue, or was it to kind of like reward players that weren't able to do things like Cavalier difficulty, any different content that might have been released? Because you're looking at this here and going like, right, was this really worth it for this player, which is R Sherbone's Ender? So it was like, right, well, that wasn't like that didn't feel like happiness that got from that compensation. People got a load of revives, hey, thumbs up, but did like you get anything of value from this? No, because then there's nothing really to kind of like, I don't know, soften the blow. That's what I was looking for. Soften the blow from stuff like this, and kind of feeling that they were compensated for the problems that were arising in this game. Which is why, for me, I refer to this compensation as being acceptable. It's not overly brilliant and it's not overly bad. There are things that I would have liked to seen a bit more, but from the state of actually being given something back that was a 6-star Nexus or 6-star related shards, it is a bit of a rarity for Kabam to dig into their pockets to at least give out that stuff, which obviously is for free. And yeah, that's just the thing with it. Like, a lot of that is in order to look at certain content you might not have done. So if you didn't do Cavalier, and maybe there's kind of like little kind of margins of changing, of going, look, should there have been another 10% Tier 5 Class Catalyst Selector? Should there have been more revives? Should there have been some kind of rank up things like Tier 5 Basics and stuff? Maybe that would be a good thing to kind of like add in as like an extra sweetener of the deal. And God willing indeed, with Medusa and Mangog going into the arena, man, Medusa as a 6, that is going to be a crazy champion to go and grab if you're interested in doing it. So my predictions are as follows. Medusa as a 6-star, I'm going over 145 mil. Unfortunately, we got those arena bots, rumoured arena bots, and that's going to make things just like very unpleasant for players. I just think there's going to be a high grind. Sorry to say. Same thing with Stark Spidey, same thing with the Black Widow OG scenario. So annoying. But Medusa's a 5-star, I'm going with 40 mil. I just think that, again, that's like low and fine. Mangog as a 6-star, I think is going to go low. I actually think it might go lower than 45 mil, to be brutally honest. And then as a 5-star, I think it's going to go 20 mil. I just think it's going to be a low cutoff. The similar to Civil Warrior situation. So yeah, that's just my predictions right there. And that has been the Marvel Contest of Champions news show for Wednesday. Thanks very much for coming on by and watching. Make sure to check out Rich's Revolution in the centre. Just click the button and it'll take you there, as well as some previous Marvel Contest of Champions related content. And I'll see you later on. We're going to be doing some deep dives into the new events. Make sure to tune in later. Bye bye.